come to fruition. This is all the tricks you guys hear my stand-up. I'm good. No, I really enjoyed everything you guys did. And, so, shout out to everybody. All right. So we're gonna get into it right now. And but before we actually get into it, I want to just say how much I love my family. You know, I really love you guys. You know, and you know, it's really cool to see the things that our generation, our siblings, my mom and I, kind of things that we did growing up, and to see how like the next generation is like taking that on to like the next level, you know. And the thing that I love most about our family is that we really believe in each other, and we believe that we can do anything.
Amen.
We can do anything, and we have done like amazing things in our family. We got a PhD, we got a bunch of advanced degrees, people that have served in the military, started $1 million companies, started multi-million-dollar companies, written books, illustrated books. I mean, it is really amazing the stuff our family has done. We can do anything. Woo! Except lower our blood pressures. Sounds fun.
Why do you sound like a police car? That's crazy.
Yo, that was the greatest segue ever.
I'm hearing my set, guys. Respect the set. Respect the set.
Okay.
That was a set. That was a joke. All right. No, laughter is great. I support laughter. So, I've been trying to lower my blood pressure. I've been doing everything, you know, diet, exercise, you know, everything that they say to do, I've been doing. But it's kind of like my blood is like conspiring against me. Like everything that I try and do, they're trying to counteract it. You know, it's like they're almost meeting up. I mean, like, you know, what were the numbers last quarter? And yeah, great job, guys. We need to get these numbers higher. You know, we need to be off the charts. We want to set the record in blood pressure.
Oh, what are you laughing about?
It was just so, you know what? I can't even really be mad at my blood, because my blood has been hearing on the outside, myself, my family, all my life, talking about success at all costs. You got to do whatever you got to do to win. You got to push through. You got to persevere. You got to win, right?
I like the time.
But I think they're really just taking it too far. Just no chill on you know, how hard they're gonna go. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going super ham. I'm going all in. I'm gonna work out harder. I'm gonna drink more water. I'm gonna be in the sauna more. I'm gonna exercise more. I'm gonna do everything more, right? So 3 months go by, I'm doing all that stuff. You ask my family, they'll tell you, right? I go to my doctor, right? He's holding my results in his hands, and his mouth is open, and he's just shaking his head. I was like, yes, I finally did it. I got it. I said, Doc, 120 over 80, right? Right? For those of you who don't know, that's good blood pressure, right? And he no answer. He's just quiet. And just mouth open, shaking his head. I'm like, okay. So now I know my blood pressure is definitely not lower than that, right? So I'm like, 130 over 85. No answer. Still, mouth open, shaking his head. Right? I'm like, oh crap. It's bad. So I'm like, stop. 150 over 100. That's really bad. That's really bad. No answer, shaking his head. When he looks at me, he's like, your blood pressure is we the best over another one.
We the best music.
That's over.
So, you know, I gotta stop listening to DJ Khaled's motivational talk.
Yeah, I said that.
This stuff is just, you know, too far. After I get the news, I'm kind of bummed out, but you know, it's all good. But when I think about it, no one in our family's ever been taken out by blood pressure issues. I just think that's kind of like how we do blood pressure. We do it off the charts, because we do everything off the charts. But it's not going to take us out, you know what I'm saying? So, you younger generation, be healthy, for sure. Eat right, exercise, water, all that stuff. But don't really worry too much about it, because, you know, we're going to be fine. We the best. We the best. All we do is win. All we do is win. So, speaking of the younger generation, you know, my older son, Vinny, shout out to Vinny in high school now. He's actually almost finished high school. Charlie on her way into high school. And it's a bit of a culture shock, high school. So, you know, in middle school, they wore uniforms, right? High school, you can wear whatever you want. It's wild. When I drop them off in school in the morning, it's like the kids, halter tops. The whole belly is showing. They got belly button piercing. They got the tattoo on the back. I don't know how 16 and 17-year-olds are getting tattoos, but they're getting tattoos on their lower back. Shorts. Short shorts. And it's wild. But the good news is at least the girls are dressed pretty wild. You know.
That's hilarious.
So, I mean, so, you know, we live in a different time. You know, we live in a different time.
Hey, this is pretty good.
I'm in my set, bro. So, we just live in a different time. You know, it's kind of a weird time to be a kid. Yeah, it's a weird time to be a parent, but definitely a weird time to be a kid. And you got, like, wokeness just run them up. It's like people are getting canceled. Everybody's a racist. It's just, you know, wokeness is just crazy. But I realized that God has an answer to wokeism, all right? And his answer to wokeism is the learning spectrum. It's the learning spectrum, okay? So let me explain the learning spectrum. You have like a spectrum of the way kids learn, right? On one end of the spectrum, you have the kids who learn real easy. Everything comes easy to them. They can learn information, they can spit it out. It's real simple. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the kids who it's kind of hard to learn, right? And they have to kind of work pretty hard to learn. Now, wokeism, for the kids that are on the easy learning side, they're really susceptible to wokeism. It's hard, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's just hard for them to like resist it. But for the kids on the hard to learn section, they don't care at all, not even a little bit about anything woke. They're like, I'm gonna graduate, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna make a bunch of money, I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of kids. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way that they are, because I think where it comes from is because facts, F-A-C-T-S, are harder for kids who it's like harder to learn for. You know what I'm saying? They're like, there's no joke. It's like 2 + 2 is 4. And they gotta hold on to that because information and data is just harder. It's not as easy, you know? So that's just kind of a thing that I've seen in life. But now while I love my kids, I definitely do not trust my kids. I don't trust you guys at all. So
What did we do?
you're about to find out. So ask them periodically. I'll just come in their room. Boom. What are you guys doing? Who are you talking to? Let me see your phone. Who's that? What's going on? I want to know what's going on in my kid's life, right? So I do all of that, and I'll even check their search. You know what you've been searching, right? So for my kids that, you know, easy learners, you know, I check their searches, and it's like, are dogs gender fluid? Or is it better for humans to not be on the planet anymore? Like, I'm like, oh God, what are you guys looking at? So, for my hard to learn students, I look at, you know, his search, and he's like, where the bitches at? but relax, man. Bitches like female dogs, puppies, garage doors.
Oh, buddy. It's a Sunday. Let's not get to this.
Yeah. So, but I love, I kind of love my own kids. I love our blended family. I love kind of this and stuff. But like other kids, I'm not really like super fan of like other kids. But sometimes when I go out, you know, I'll see like a black child, right? And it's like the child would be like a year or, you know, or younger, and the child would look at me, and the child would say, "Dad, Dad," and you know, I mean, it's all good. But I'm seriously curious. I mean, this happens to me all the time. I can't count how many times it's happened. David, Paul, has this ever happened? Like a kid say, look at you and say, "Is that you?" Has it ever happened to you?
Should I be worried? No, maybe.
Maybe. It happens to me all the time, for whatever reason. But so I developed a theory on it. Right? I don't think that these children think I'm their father. I think in their mind, dad means black man. So they just look at a black man and they're like, dad. But it's okay. It's not like it is kind of what it is. So most of the time when these things happen, it's like a really innocent, you know, exchange. It's like it's actually kind of cute and innocent and all that. So the kid will be like, dad, and I'm like, the mom's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. It's all good. Like it's like a nice kind of exchange, right? But one time it was kind of not a good exchange.
It was a white baby.
So I'm in line at the store. There's a mom and a kid in front of me, and she's just like going off on all the workers. She's like upset at the cashier, and she's being like really aggressive with everybody. And I'm trying to mind my business because I don't want to like have any problems with anybody, right? And you know, the kid turns around and he looks up at me and he's like, Dad. So I'm like, all good. I don't know if you can guess this kid. So the mom, right, she turns around, she looks me up and down, and she looks at him, she's like, that is not your daddy. So I bend down, I look at the kid, I bend down, I look at the kid right in the eye, and I say, I could never be your daddy. Your mom is a 4.
I can't say that.
So mom's like, what did you say? I don't think she really heard me. I said, you shouldn't talk to strangers anymore. And I just kind of let it. So anyway, it's I think I kind of have daddy issues a little bit, and you guys kind of know the backstory.
Yeah, I can't.
But for most of my adult life, I've been estranged from my father, and something that has happened to me many times before he passed away would be like I would see like another like black man of his age, build, and I look something, is that my father? Like I'm not sure if like that's my father. Like that thought would come into my mind. Curious, siblings. Did that ever happen to you guys?
Yeah.
Yes. I see like somebody in the second.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have kind of like you can relate to that to that scenario. So this is a true story. True story. Some of you here have heard the story, but I don't know if you've like heard the full story. So used to live in Bradenton, about 4 hours north, right? We used to come down to visit family periodically. One time I come down, and when I would come down, I would want to eat, get as much Jamaican food as I could get because we couldn't get Jamaican food in Bradenton. So at the time, the best jerk chicken spot was this place called Truck Stop, right? They had like the best jerk chicken. But it was in the middle of nowhere, it was late at night. I go there, place is packed, the line is 50 people deep, right? I get in line, and I see a person in front of me, and it's like, man, this guy kind of looks like my father. But for all the other times in my life, it's been, a false alarm, not him. So I kind of like, this is not really possible. So then he talked, and I heard his voice, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually my father. This is a true story. This is not even a joke. So I'm like, man, I'm not prepared for this. I didn't know that we were getting into this right now. So I put my hand over my mouth so that, he could automatically look at me and tell that it was me, right? So I'm thinking, what am I going to say to him? What am I going to do? Am I going to fight him? Am I going to hug him? Like, I have no idea of like how this is going to go down. So while I'm kind of thinking about all this, he turns around and looks at me, and I don't know why, but I kind of like drop my hand, and I look at him as well too, and he's like, Layton? And I'm like, Dad? We hugged it out, we had a moment. Story for another day, but that was pretty cool. But because of all the crazy things I've been through in my life, I'm actually in the process of writing a book. Some of you guys know, some of you don't know. The book I'm writing right now is a book about happiness. And it's one of the most depressing projects I've ever worked on. because your audience are people who are unhappy or struggling with happiness. Happy people don't read books like this, So,
I was gonna say that.
It's.
Okay, now he's so sorry. He's doing grandma's laugh.
So it's. I think the reason why it's depressing is because you have to meet your readers like where they are, right? So it's like, how to be happy in a war zone, like how to be happy after major trauma, how to be happy if your mom is a 4. What? really depressing stuff. But I'm gonna push through, and we're gonna get through it. So, the one thing I'll leave with you guys, I'm wrapping it up, is there's one thing that I have determined as a great way to make sure that you're happy and to reduce the misery in your life. And it's never, never, never write a book on happiness. Thank you very much. Have a great night. So, with that, I'm going to turn over to my co-host to close the night out.
Is it standing ovation? Everybody gotta stand up because it was hard not to fall down. I literally had a panic attack out there. I just, when he said, Dada, I don't know if you saw me fall.